Presidential Seminar. This is one of the preeminent awards the university gives out. It's one of the top 2 awards given out to scholarly creative activity, and we are pleased and honored tonight to have Daveda Karanas here with us today to give her Presidential Seminar. Daveda is an associate professor of voice, serves as the coordinator of vocal studies here at TXST State University. In 2019, she made her debut at Carnegie Hall, performing Mahler's Symphony No. 2 with the Athens Philharmonic, and her Spanish debut at Teatro Real as Lise in The Passenger, a role she has also performed with the Florida Grand Opera, the Detroit Opera, the Israeli Opera, and Lyric Opera of Chicago. In fact, her performance of The Passenger at Teatro Real led to her becoming a recording artist with Deutsche Grammophon with the album just released January of 2025. Some of her other major roles include debuts including Kundry in Parsifal at Lyric Opera of Chicago, Jezebaba in Rusalka at Arizona Opera, Brangamin in Tristan and Isolde. Music faculty, you can correct me out later on all my mispronunciations of it all, okay? That's why you guys are sitting so far up that you can't ever hear me. All right. So Brangamin in Tristan and Isolde at the Canadian Opera Company, Amneris in Aida at Arizona Opera, Azucena in Il Trovatore at Opera Grand Rapids, and both Waltrata and Second Norn in Götterdom at San Francisco Opera. She made her German debut as Marfa in that opera at Opera Frankfurt, and her European debut as Judith in Bluebeard's Casa de Maggio Musicale Fioriento. Ms. Karanas is committed to performing new and unknown works, particularly in recital and orchestral settings, where she premieres compositions and collaborates with composers to bring bold contemporary music to the stage. One of her earlier successes was in 2008. She was the grand prize winner of the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions. And today she continues to enjoy a very distinguished career as a celebrated artist and educator. And tonight she'll be presenting her seminar entitled Divine, Dark, and Discarded: Portraits of Powerful Women in Opera. She'll give her presentation, then we'll have a short Q&A with her, and then we'll have a reception in the lobby. Again, please join me in welcoming Daveda Karanas.
Thank you. You did most of those correct. You really did. If you need any help, you know where we are at the School of Music. Thank you all for coming tonight. I am honored to receive this 2024 Presidential Seminar Award. As a mezzo-soprano, I often find myself in the shadows of opera's leading roles, supporting characters, villains, witches, or confidants. We push the plot forward, adapting depth and complexity, yet rarely take the final bow. Unlike sopranos and tenors, household names like Maria Callas or Luciano Pavarotti, mezzos rarely enjoy the same level of fame. And yet, without us, opera would lack some of its most compelling characters, from Kundry to Amneris. Thank you to President Kelly Damphus, Provost Pranesh Ashwath, Dean John Fleming, and Dr. Todd Sullivan for your leadership and support of the arts. I'm also grateful to the members of the Presidential Awards for Excellence Scholarly Creative Activities Committee for their time, expertise, and for honoring me with this award. To all the faculty members nominated, our students learn by our example, and it is an honor to stand amongst such dedicated individuals who pursue excellence through their scholarly and creative work. Finally, I must extend my deepest gratitude to my colleagues and collaborators within the School of Music. It is a privilege to work alongside you all. A special thanks to my collaborative pianist for this evening, Mike Levitt, our outstanding opera music director, who gives so generously of his time to the opera program and voice area. We singers could not do what we do without a strong, supportive collaborator at the piano. Music has been a constant in my life. Thank you. Music has been a constant in my life. I grew up in Mandeville, Louisiana, which is a small town outside of New Orleans on the North Shore, attending public schools that provided an excellent music education. Choir became my passion, and by high school, I was immersed in Louisiana's talented arts program for voice and piano, which if you ask my students, they'll want to see those scores. My Greek heritage rich and theatrical tradition influenced my dramatic nature. As the Greeks love to say, we invented drama. At Southeastern Louisiana University, much like Texas State, I found the space to truly be myself, a big voice with big emotions. This foundation, rich in cultivation and performance opportunities, set me apart in auditions for graduate schools, young artist programs, competitions, and professional opera houses. I wouldn't be the success story I am today without that crucial start. Sorry. This is one of the reasons why I chose to teach at Texas State, because opera education matters. And this audience are future artists, and they deserve the same, if not better, opportunities that I had. Opera is a long-term investment. It is very expensive. And when you're a dramatic voice like myself, it's really, really, really expensive. But it is a living, breathing art form that speaks to the human experience. This program needs support financially and in terms of resources, mentorship, and community engagement. By investing in these young artists, we invest in the future of opera and the continued power of storytelling through music. One of the core elements of this education is helping students discover and refine their unique vocal identities. For example, what is a dramatic mezzo-soprano? A dramatic mezzo possesses vocal power, a rich, resonant voice that soars over a full orchestra, emotional depth, the ability to embody larger-than-life characters from tragic heroines to formidable villains, darker, fuller timbre, a unique sound suited to intense, complex roles. Now let me give you a list of 5 famous operas commonly programmed in opera houses around the world. La Bohème, Tosca, Turandot, Don Giovanni, and La Traviata. What do they have in common? No prominent mezzo roles. Though La Traviata features Flora, a small supporting mezzo role. But now, consider these operas with a leading or featured mezzo role. The Barber of Seville, Werther, The Marriage of Figaro, La Cenerentola, which is Rossini's Cinderella, and Die Fledermaus. Each of these roles, whether a leading or featured mezzo part, does not align with my voice type. I am not the lovesick, mischievous Cherubino in Mozart's Marriage of Figaro, nor the sweet and youthful Angelina in Rossini's La Cenerentola. Instead, I am cast in roles that suit my voice, stature, and presence. Roles that fall into 3 categories: divine, dark, and discarded. The divine, sacred, and visionary women in opera. Cassandra from Berlioz' Les Troyens, which you will hear the aria later on, is a woman cursed with foresight, doomed to be ignored. Performing Cassandra deepened my understanding of women who speak the truth but are not believed, a struggle that transcends time and history. Mother Marie in Poulenc's Dialogues of the Carmelites, a woman of unshakable conviction. Her absence at the final martyrdom challenges her life's purpose, but it does not crush her faith. It forces her to confront the limits of her belief. Brangäna from Tristan and Isolde, Wagner's Tristan, a woman of profound emotional and spiritual depth whose loyalty and wisdom contrast with the tragic fate of the lovers Tristan and Isolde. Brangäna's purity and sacrifice embody selfless love and duty. Her choice to use the love potion instead of the death potion, driven by devotion to Isolde, and Tristan sets the tragedy in motion. As a protector bound by her role, her loyalty and wisdom shines despite the weight of her decision. The dark, the power and danger of mezzo villains. This is who I play the most. This role right here is Lisa in Weinberg's The Passenger. I will do this role until they tell me I can't do this role anymore. Amneris, who you will hear the judgment scene from Aida later, she is a powerful Egyptian princess torn by love and duty. Amneris' journey from jealousy to remorse reveals the devastating cost of unrequited love and the weight of her own choices. Lisa in The Passenger, a woman defined by fear and the psychological weight of her past actions. Portraying Lisa, a former SS officer, is emotionally challenging. Bringing her to life requires confronting the darkness within her and exploring the psychological toll of her denial and unwavering convictions. It is a role that forces an examination of uncomfortable aspects of human nature and the enduring consequences of her actions. Yeji Baba from Dvorak's Rusalka, which is The Little Mermaid. I don't play Ariel, I play Ursula. A woman of magic and manipulation, whose dark power creates both fear and fascination. Yeji Baba's role as a figure who offers transformation at a great cost, highlighting the tension between magic and morality. The discarded, women silenced and overlooked. Kundry in Wagner's Parsifal, which is what this photo is here from Act 1. A woman of mystery, redemption, and deep suffering. Kundry embodies the weight of centuries of pain, a woman caught between servitude and salvation. Marfa in Kovanchina by Mussorgsky, you will hear her as well, a mystic whose warnings go unheeded. Her visions are ignored, much like Cassandra, but in a political rather than mythological setting. And Hasbina from the burlesque opera of Tabasco, I promise this is a PG show, from Chadwick, a comedic yet revealing role. Hasbina embodies the discarded woman, often overlooked due to her age, but essential to the story, a fascinating exploration of how society pushes aside those who no longer fit the conventional mold, yet she remains a force that cannot be ignored. The roles I have performed are not just characters, they are reflections of the real world. They are the divine, the dark, and the discarded. Women of strength, sorrow, sacrifice, and sometimes unrelenting vengeance. Through them, we see the struggles and triumphs of women throughout history. Opera is not just entertainment. It is a mirror to society, revealing power dynamics, gender roles, and human complexities. By championing these roles, I bring their voices, often overlooked, to life. The idea of giving voice to the unheard is at the heart of my work in Mieczysław Weinberg's The Passenger, an opera that confronts memory, trauma, and the weight of history. The Deutsche Grammophon recording of The Passenger, in which I perform, was released on January 25th, 2025, and has already been recognized as one of the best new classical recordings, a testament to the enduring power of this monumental work. While the role of Lisa, a former SS officer, may evoke discomfort in both the performer and audience alike, it is this very unease that is essential to the story's exploration of moral complexity and the haunting legacy of complicity. Through music, we give voice to these difficult truths, channeling history, emotion, and reckoning into sound. It is in this act of singing, of embodying discomfort through art, that we confront the past and ensure its echoes are never forgotten. Thank you. I will now invite my dear friend Mike Levitt to join me on stage. Tonight we will perform 4 arias from the dramatic mezzo-soprano repertoire: Cassandra's aria Malheureux Roi from Les Troyens, the Trojans; Marfa's aria Sili Patainie Sili Velikile from Mussorgsky's Kovanchina, the Kovanchi Affair; Amneris' Act 4 Judgment Scene from Aida; and Hasbina's aria It's Hard for an Old Concubine from Chadwick's Tabasco. Divine, dark, and discarded. Hopefully our students know what a concubine is, or they can Google it. In 2018, it was right before I came here to Texas State, a conductor friend of mine was digging in the archives of New Orleans Opera, and he found the fragments of Chadwick's The Burlesque opera of Tabasco. It happened to also be Michelini, that is the company who makes Tabasco hot sauce. It was their 150th anniversary, and being a Louisiana native, they'd asked me if I would sing this role of has-beena. She is a has-been. There's a lot of play on words there. Josh Shaw was the director of this production, and he is the general director at Pacific Opera Project in Los Angeles. And so the music was there, but the text was not. So this is an updated text. This is not Chadwick's text. So if you have any problems with it, you can email Josh Shaw at Pop Opera, okay? When I was a young woman, so not so... Can I do that all again? Can we do this again? What words am I singing in English? Girl! I'm not used to singing girl in my repertoire. I'm sorry. When I was a young girl, not so long ago, my figure was 10 out of 10. And
question you'd like to ask Daveda? Yes.
I was warned about the voice.
I told you, didn't I? Did you bring earplugs? No,
No.
you just let it all vibrate in.
I was able to handle it, though.
Questions? Yep.
The program was really amazing. How did you where did the birth of where you started thinking about it anyway? Yeah. You started thinking about the program, what was that like putting this all together, and the notes and the songs and
Got it.
not the singing notes, the notes.
When I originally, when we submit for the Presidential Awards for Excellence, a lot of it had to actually deal with the passenger. And I had thought about presenting his song cycle, Beyond the Quarter of Past Days, Opus 50, which is for mezzo-soprano, which I did the American premiere here at Texas State. And I thought about that, and then I the election happened, and we were at Nats, and I don't know, I wanted to give something back, especially for our voice majors, because if you've been to any of my performances, they are mostly of art songs and new music or orchestra chamber stuff, so you haven't had a chance to see me blow your faces off with opera. And so of course then the election happened, and we won't get political, but I was very upset and angry, and I don't know, I think it kind of honed in on that mezzo-ness of myself, which is what these roles are. So actually it was with Addie and Brisa. We were at a table, and we're kind of like, there's a real term, which I'll just say it. I used to have a live journal back in college, which is like pre all this other social media. And my journal title was Witches, Britches, Whores, and Bitches. and those are the roles of a mezzo-soprano, and I thought, this is a presidential seminar, I'm pretty sure they won't put that on the program. So we asked AI, and Divine, Dark, and Discarded is what came up. And when that happened, it was just like, oh, this is perfect. It's like all these roles that are basically like giving forewarning, like, hey, listen to me, I know, and no one's listening. And so it kind of stemmed from that. And for me, singing this stuff is extremely cathartic. I really love to sink my teeth into this stuff and sort of be wild and unapologetic. So that's how these came to be.
All right, we got one over here.
Yes.
Because you are so in tune with kind of these songs, do you see, and the newer stuff coming out, do you see more of this message being brought to light? Because I think it's very important now, as much, if not more than it was back then.
I think that music will always be a road. I think it will always be a venue or a medium for speaking your thoughts about society, about the world. I love working with Dr. Michael Ippolito. He writes some amazing music for me, but it always has this real deep message, and I love that. And that's something like I spoke with earlier with a student that's also a mezzo. It's I don't sing those light, fluffy pieces. That's just not what I'm paid for. I could sing the pants off of Carabino. I really, really can, but no one's gonna pay me to sing Carabino. They're not. They're gonna pay me for this, that's why. You want that visceral sort of like, oh God, feeling, because that's the voice quality, that's what I look like, and all of that. So I think as an artist, it's what you choose. And so for me, like when I present things here at Texas State, especially if it's new works, it's because I want to open the student's mind of composers you might not have heard of before, or poets, or just different music that's in our classical realm. Yeah.
Other questions? Yes.
The performances are very physical, and you clearly embody those. At the end of the night, after a performance like this, versus at the end of the night, after a performance that's a little more thrilling and upbeat, how do you feel differently when it's over?
Oh, I've been doing this for a long time, so it's I'm sort of used to this machine of feeling. We always get like a second wind, so I'm sure like around 9:30 I'm gonna be like, oh, what can I do? Let me answer some emails and let me send out a thing, you know. It always happens. I don't know. I think because this is so physical, and because it's like when you, I don't know, it's like if you go running or you go to a therapist and you get out like all of the stuff that you've been like holding deep in your gut. You know, for me, singing opera and using these characters as a gateway of releasing tension, I feel pretty good at the end of the night. Unless I do really poorly and then I try, those intrusive thoughts come in, but I try to keep her at bay.
One more question. Anybody have one?
I have enough.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of therapy, how much psychology do you put into your therapy?
If you want to come to my office, it's 103. There's a filing cabinet. It's 3-tier, the big long ones, and those two of them are filled with all of the research that I do on all of my music. To me, I love singing. I do, and I love performing, but the research part is like a drug. It is just a good one, like a really good ibuprofen. It's just, oh my gosh, I just love it. I love, and that's the thing that's so great about you all that are at this generation. My generation was sort of the start of the internet, and you know, trying to find things, it was very rare and sparse. But like now, I mean, y'all can find things, and it's just, and every year it gets better and better. Every year, people come up with databases of like women composers, African American composers, queer composers. It's just the amount of information that's out there. And so for me, that's like my favorite thing to do is like dig in and find things. And then, you know, when someone says, I want to do a recital with you, mezzo, cello, and piano, it's like, okay, let's go. You know, it's like Christmas to me. That and opening a score and highlighting are like the two joys of a singer's life. So, or at least my life. Yeah. So lots of psychology, a lot.
Okay, one more question.
One
and then
more
we'll wrap up.
question.
If you could play any role, what role would it be?
Oh, wow. Of my own voice type or any other voice type?
Anything that you
Any voice type. King Philip and Don Carlo. Oh!
That's round roll.
Oh, I would die to play that. In my repertoire, I do have a particular, and it's creepy to say, but I do have a particular fondness for Lisa, only because Zofia Posmich, who was the original author of the play that it was based off of, she came to my opening night performance when I did my debut, and she's Polish, and she was an Auschwitz survivor. And she had told me that I had embodied Lisa, and she was a real person in real life. I embodied her exactly how she was in the camp. And to me, that was like the best, like I could die tomorrow with that as like the highest achievement as an artist. So to me, Lisa, like I said, until someone says you're too old for this, I will keep singing her, so.
As we bring this to close, I want to thank
Yes.
our provost, Ashworth, and his wife Sherpa for coming in and joining us tonight. I know you modified your schedule to be here.
Thank you.
We do, but we appreciate it. We appreciate that support. I also want to thank everybody who worked on this production. I would mention names, but I know I would forget somebody, so I just want to thank all of my colleagues in the programs, college management, who helped make this event possible. Normally at a Dean seminar, I give out some stuff, but this is a presidential seminar, so you've already gotten all your different awards. So instead, let's give her one more round of applause and then head down to the reception.